How's it going? My name is David Addison and welcome to David Daily. Now today I'm going to talk about cruise ship photography. Now I've already made a couple of videos on my main channel about cruise ship photography, about the life of a cruise ship photographer and a crew member in general. But today I want to talk about a specific day in the life of a cruise ship photographer, and that is Embarkation Day. First of all, I have my iPad here, so I'll be referring to my notes as it has been a couple of years since I've been on a cruise ship. What is Embarkation Day? So Embarkation Day is the day that new passengers embark and the old passengers leave. It's a very important day in the life of all crew members, including photographers. So Embarkation Day, it all depends on which ship you're on and which cruise line you're on, and it also, your specific day depends on that, and it depends on the passenger schedule. So on some ships, they're dead laid back about photography. They're not really too bothered. If you turn up and take photos, it's up to you. They're not really too fussed. Believe it or not, those are the more expensive ships who just want to give their customers good service. They're not bothered about photography or selling too much. But on the more cheaper ships, where they do want to sort of, they're selling the cruises cheaper and they want to make a lot of money when passengers are on board, they're very, very strict. You must take as many pictures as you can of every passenger that you possibly can in order for you to make your money. So it does depend on which cruise ship and which cruise line you're with. And also it depends on where you're docked. So for example, when we were docked in Palma de Mallorca off the coast of Spain, all our passengers are from the UK. So they're just flying 2 hours, they're coming to us, and they get into the ship around, I think it was 1 o'clock, something like that, between like 11, 12, 1, that sort of time. And when we were in Montego Bay in Jamaica, they had an 8-hour flight from the UK. So they were getting to the ship around 5 o'clock in the evening, something like that. And I'm probably not getting these times perfectly right, but you get the idea. So that can affect what you're doing with your day. And now, before Embarkation Day even starts, it is affected by, like, you could have been working the night before past midnight, like chasing the current passengers to come and collect their photos, to get them to still buy photos, because we were on 100% commission. We didn't get any salary or anything like that. So if you hadn't met your target, that was a big difference between what you got paid. So it was in your best interest to chase right until the very last minute to get those sales. And if that meant phoning people up, hey, you said you were going to come and collect your pictures, or you said you were going to come and view your pictures, where are you? Going around the bars looking for people. Hey, you said you were going to come and view your pictures, come on, let's do it, man. You know, we want to give good customer service, we want to give impeccable customer service, but we also want to make money. And hey, and if people had said we were going to come and then you're waiting around, you could be, if you're dependent on them to meet your target, then you're either waiting around for them for a couple of hours, not knowing if they're going to turn up or not, or you could just go and find them. And then you could go and find them and they say, you know what, nah, never mind, I'm getting drunk now, I'm not bothered about pictures. And then you'd leave, and then you would know for sure. But then that gets me onto the morning. Those same passengers would then come to you in the morning and say, where's my photos? And then you have to, that inevitable call in the cabin in the morning of Embarkation Day to deal with something. And when you're the manager, this is always going to happen. Someone wants a refund. I was, my wife Roxy was the manager, and I was sharing a cabin with her. She once got a call, right, for a refund of 40p. 40 pence, because this passenger discovered that she hadn't been given her discount on some photos, and the discount was 40 pence. So we let her know how. Yeah, 40 pence, I know. There could be something wrong with the pictures. Someone could buy a picture, and we've had this every week. People buy a picture on the first night of the cruise and they leave it right until the last day, right until they're about to disembark, to make a complaint about the picture or tell you that they want a picture changing or something, photoshopping or whatever, but I don't want to turn this into a rant against against passengers, so that could happen. And then, like I said, it depends on the pack's arrival schedule, which affects your setup time. So we have embarkation photos. That's your main job on embarkation day. And that involves setting up a backdrop of some kind in the cruise terminal. So where the passengers arrive, they check their passports, they get given tickets and room keys and all that sort of stuff, go through security. And then after they've done that, or sometimes before, you take their photo as they come on board, and then you put like a board around it of whatever the ship's called and where you're going to be cruising and things like that. It's quite a popular photo. It's quite an important photo. A lot of people will tell you that they don't want it, and then when they see it, they like it. And it's a great opportunity for you as the photographer to make a great first impression with the quality of your photos. Take a great embarkation photo, make them look good when they're potentially tired and not up for it, then you've got that customer then. And on TUI, I was on TUI ships, we were encouraged to have a bit of banter with the guests. So sometimes they would say, "Oh, I'm too tired for a photo. I've been traveling since, all this time." And I'd be like, "You've come from the UK. You've just flown 2 hours. Like, I did that flight last week. I embarked myself last week. You're fresh. You're fine, man. Like, where have you come via? Did you do a lap of the world first and then come? Like, get yourself in front of that blue screen, And it was fine to say stuff like that, or come on, Grumps. Look, there's your cruise ship. That's what you're about to go on. Cheer yourself up and have a picture, stuff like that. So it was good. It was good to be able to get as many pictures as you possibly could. But in terms of your day, in terms of your schedule, sometimes it could mean setting up in the morning, leaving the setup, going and enjoying your day, and then coming back to the setup later to take the pictures. Or it could involve setting up and then shooting immediately. It just depends on what you feel like doing. It depends on the cruise line. Some cruise lines like to see that you're set up in the morning so that you're ready. Some cruise lines are a bit more lenient, or it doesn't so much depend on the cruise line. It depends on more like the general manager and the hotel manager, what they prefer. Some of them are on your back to be set up and ready. Some of them are fine for you to just rock up with half an hour to go and set yourself up then. But either way, on embarkation day, you should get a lot of free time as a photographer because there's nothing else to do. There's no Photoshop to do. There's no editing to do. There's no shooting. There's nothing. So you can just go and enjoy your day and try not to get too drunk, because although tipsy embarkation can be fun, and I can say that because I don't plan on going on ships ever again. So yeah, tipsy embarkation can be quite fun, and tipsy gangway as well. Just helps you get through it. Helps you, if you have a couple of margaritas, a couple of beers before you do embarkation, then you can, be a bit more lively, because chances are you're running on hardly any sleep as well, so it helps. I'm not saying get drunk and work, but anyway. So what else have I got? No photos to edit. Evenings about... okay. So then after embarkation, we tear down the studio, we go and eat something, and then you put on your evening uniform. And now, again, it depends on the cruise line. Sometimes when I was on Saga cruises, we had to go and introduce ourselves in front of the passengers. All the new passengers would be gathered in like in the theatre, and we'd have to get up on stage. "Hi, I'm David, and I represent the photo department." And I always had to do it because I was the English guy in the team. That's fine. I used to introduce our colleague Becky as my daughter, because we had Roxy and I, and then one other girl, Becky. So I was like, and this is my fiancée, Roxy, at the time, and then this is our daughter, Becky. You should have seen, because I didn't care. We didn't like it on Saga. We were leaving as soon as we possibly could, and so I was beyond the point of caring. So that was funny, Becky. If you're watching, I hope you're well. You're a good one. And I just got a message from you on Instagram actually that I need to reply to. Anyway, I was talking about the evening. So the evening is generally about awareness. People will come and they want to relax on their first day, see the ship out, find their way around the ship, and they'll also stop by to take a look at their embarkation photo. And at that point, don't bother trying to sell them anything. Just ask them if they like the photo. Tell them, hey, I remember you didn't want your picture taken, and look how good it looks. And they'll be like, yeah, it does look really good, actually. Right, see you around. Have a good evening. Hey, are you coming to the sail away party? I'll see you there with my camera. Hey, are you coming to formal night? Yep, I'll see you there. Make sure you come and grab me if you see me. Stuff like that. Just trying to build a relationship up with the passengers, because once they see that you're not just like a shark that's going to jump on them and try and sell them a photo package on their first day, then they generally are pretty cool. Some photographers did. I was never like that. I was more about building that relationship. Then they're more likely to trust you, want their picture taken, and then ultimately buy from you, which puts the money in your pocket at the end of the day. But some photo managers that I had, they wanted to what's called set up on the first night. Set up is where you set up different studios around the ship, different backdrops with different lights, and you would stand there and you would be like, hey folks, come for a picture. Similar with embarkation. So we'd have the Titanic staircase backdrop, a blue backdrop, sparkly backdrop, stuff like that. And I was always dead against it. I was always like, why are we shooting on the first night? Manager, there's no one around. They're either in their room relaxing, they're either in the restaurant, they're exploring the ship, they're not dressed for pictures, they're in flip-flops, they're in the comfy traveling clothes. Like, why are we setting up? You're just ruining our backdrops, because now when we set up tomorrow, when they're ready for pictures, they're like, well, we've had this backdrop last night, why are we having it again? So it's like, it's pointless. And he also wanted us to shoot in the restaurant as well, which is where you go around to all the individual dining tables and take pictures of people while they're having dinner, which, like, on the first night, like, chill out, man. Wait until formal night. Wait until they're all dressed up. Like, why are we doing this on the first night? It's overkill. But the best thing I found to do on the first night is to not do any of that, is to just have someone around in the photo gallery to just answer any questions about the photo department, because that's all you'll get. You'll just get questions. No one wants their picture. They've had the embarkation picture, and then they'll see you around the cruise. You've got a week or 2 weeks or whatever to get their photo. So, but one other thing that we had to do on embarkation day was the sail away party. Sail away party could be fun depending on the type of passengers that you got, depending on where you were cruising. When we were in the Caribbean, sail away party would be at like 11 o'clock at night, and people would be knackered. If you had like an older group of passengers, then they would never go. I went once, they sent me up just to check what it was like, and we'd sometimes check the cameras that were on the deck to see what was going on, and if we saw that it was empty, then we just wouldn't bother going. Once I went up and there was just some old woman sat there in the middle of the deck just asleep. I was like, nah, let's go to the bar. But when it's like middle of summer, Palma de Mallorca, and it's you're sailing away at like 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, then you're golden. People are up, people are happy, people are dancing. You can go and join in and snap, and then drop off your memory card to the printer, and then get yourself off to the bar. And that was a typical embarkation. And in terms of like judging the cruise from embarkation day, I learned that you can't do that. If you could have an amazing embarkation day, you could take thousands of pictures on embarkation day, and you could have a really bad cruise. You could make no money that cruise whatsoever. And at the same time, you could have a really grumpy embarkation. You could take hardly any pictures. A lot of people don't want the picture. And then you could have an amazing cruise. So there was no sort of correlation there. The main correlation I found was just with where you were in the world, how much the cruise cost, and the time of year. And those three things were the main sort of indicator as to how much money you were going to make. And obviously your quality of your pictures and your service as well. But in terms of external factors, those were the three things that we were looking for. Once you've been on the ship a certain length of time, like we all knew, hey, there's this Barcelona cruise coming up, this is going to be a good cruise, and make sure you're on, your A game and stuff like that. And that is embarkation day as a cruise ship photographer. Like I said, not all embarkation days are going to be the same, but I'm guessing that pretty much, they all follow that sort of rough sort of outline of having to set up a backdrop of some kind and take pictures. I think that's pretty much a staple of the vast majority of cruise lines, apart from the really high-end ones that don't offer photography and things like that. And a successful embarkation, like, it really depends on the team that you have around you, the mood that you're in. If you go to embarkation pissed off and you've got a bad team around you, then, and the passengers are horrible, then you're going to have a bad embarkation probably. But if you've got a good team around you, you're in a good mood, you know, maybe you've had a few margaritas, so a few rum and cokes, like I said. Even if you have grumpy passengers, then you can spend 2 or 3 hours just kind of making fun of them. And that's it, really. And that's something I didn't mention, actually, how long it actually takes. Again, that obviously depends on how many passengers you've got. You finish embarkation when you've taken... Did I mention that? I can't remember. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.